So again, good evening to those who are joining from the Asian region. Good afternoon for those who are here in the UAE. And so, ladies and gentlemen, freelancers, agency owners, and even those who of you have a full-time job but decided to join us here because cybersecurity matters wherever you work. Good evening once again. So I'm really glad to be here because this is not your typical tech-heavy session. This is a non-techie cybersecurity awareness webinar. Normally, I'm being asked to conduct a cybersecurity awareness session individually by each companies. And that happens most of the time in October because October is a cybersecurity awareness month. But I'm happy that we are all here gathered as a non-techie community, and it's because we are concerned not only of our clients, but it's also because we are concerned about our work. We need to protect our work, right? So this is made especially for freelancers. Most of you are freelancers here, whether you're doing virtual assistants or real estate support or content creation, or even handling bookings and client communications. What you're about to go through is practical. It will be easy to follow and directly tied to how you earn and build trust with your clients. Remember, okay, no matter how long and how much effort you did to establish your integrity, your credibility, one single mistake will cut that trust from your clients. So it is very important that even before that happens, you're already prepared. No one is exempted from being attacked. Therefore, it's not about only reacting to clean up what had happened, but to go back and recover. This is what we call resiliency. Okay, so let me share my screen now. And by the way, please feel free to put your questions on the chat, or if there are specific questions that you really would like me to discuss further, you can put it in the Q&A section of the webinar. Okay, are we all good to start? I don't know if you can give me a thumbs up if you're all ready to start. Yeah, let's go. Okay, thanks. So that's for the welcome. As an introduction, I am Irene Corpus. I have 30 plus years of experience in IT, combined IT, cybersecurity, project management, strategy, and quality management or management systems. So I work in private companies and academia, in federal and government entities here in the UAE. I have handled leadership roles across government and consulting and strategy. My core expertise, mentioned it, in IT strategy, project management, GRC or governance, risk and compliance, and policy development and strategic advisory. I am also one of the founding partners of the Women in Cybersecurity Middle East and Strategic Steering Committee, or SSC, member for the Global Forum for Cyber Expertise. That is a global organization based in Netherlands. I have presented across multiple conferences in Asia, in GCC, in UK, Europe, and in the USA, and I hold a number of certifications and recognitions as well. So one of the things also that I'm journeying is going on a quantum journey. I said I took a quantum leap. So it's bridging cybersecurity, governance, and the future-ready policies. Presentation agenda. So we're going to talk about let's divide or categorize the discussion here in 4 areas. We'll be understanding the stakes, why cybersecurity matters for freelancers and your clients. In the case of those who are actually working as full-time employee, why cybersecurity matters for you and your company. We'll talk about the cyber threat landscape. What are the common cybersecurity threats and industry-specific risks? Because when we say industry-specific risks, cybersecurity risks are not fixed in every type of industry. Let's say for oil and gas, there are specific threats that face the oil and gas. There are specific threats that face the financial sector. Maybe for real estate as well, there's different, etc. We'll also talk about practical implementation. So we're going to recognize security gaps, how to effectively communicate them to your clients, and at the same time, what are the security best practices that you can apply in your own system, in your own, let's say, devices. And we'll also talk about real world application, the case studies. We're going to look at actionable security measures and ongoing education. And when we say ongoing education, this webinar doesn't end here. It's about engaging yourself further with your clients or with your organization, especially for those companies who say that cybersecurity is not in their budget. This is where you can play a role. This is where you can add value to your company as an employer and to your client as a freelancer. So by the end of this presentation also, you will be receiving practical tools. It's a toolkit, no? To protect yourself and your clients and your companies from evolving data threats. So industries rely heavily on freelancers. We know that in today's business landscape, you have become essential contributors across numerous sectors. Most of them are startups. They are seeking flexibility to be established before they acquire regular employees or full-time employees. The freelance economy now continues to grow, and they evolve to meet changing and business needs. When we talk about freelancing, it's important to recognize how many industries depend on you today. Startups and SMEs, they rely heavily on freelancers because they need flexibility and cost control. Instead of hiring full-time staff, they bring in developers, designers, marketers, or bookkeepers on demand. Then we have creative industries as well, the media, the publishing, video, design. A huge amount of content we consume every day is created by freelance talent. If you will see as well, most social media influencers, most of them hire freelance branding consultants or freelance branding experts. We're talking about creative and content industry, no? So we're saying that most of the media and publishing contents are done or outsourced through freelance talents. The third industry that utilize freelance talent is technology. It is another big one. So freelance developers, cybersecurity testers, or we call this penetration testers, compliance consultants like me, data science and AI analysts. This is another big industry that is evolving for freelancers. Like you have machine learning engineers for projects or analysts, and UI UX designers or user interface and user experience designers. They start the prototyping and testing before they are released. Education and training also has shifted. So think about online tutors, e-learning, course creators, even corporate trainers. Many are freelancers now. Again, I also serve as an adjunct faculty in a university, so this is another freelance opportunity. On the business side, sales and customer support is another area. Many companies outsource telemarketers, lead generation, and even call center roles to freelance or contract workers. And real estate is also built on this model. Property agents typically operate as independent contractors. And finally, this is a growing trend, the health and wellness. With the rise of telehealth, we now see freelance dietitians, fitness coaches, and therapists. They offer services online. So the key point here is that freelancers are not just one niche. They're embedded across many industries. In fact, one skill that you have can be applied in different industries as well. Many of the tools you use in your daily work overlap in these industries. If those tools are compromised, it's not just big companies at risk. It's freelancers and your clients too. Why startups and SMEs rely on freelancer? Take the case of one startup, let's say here in the UAE. The only employees, the full-time employees, are the founders and another co-founding partner. But why are they relying on freelancers? It's because one, they won't pay for the visa. There is no visa expense. Number two, there are no other benefits that they are paying, like the annual leave or the health insurance or the airfare. Some companies even offer transportation and accommodation. So all of these benefits are not provided by the company when they are hiring freelancers. So it means lower costs for them versus hiring a full-time staff. There is scalability as well. They can add and remove resources quickly because even if you have a free full-time hire, there are processes before you can fully terminate an employment contract, right? There's also access to global talent. You hire the best skills regardless of the location. So one company may be located in the US, but they are hiring the skills in Europe or in Asia, like most of you here. It's also project-based, flexibility. So it's perfect for short-term or experimental projects. When you say short term, it means even the freelancers, they are able to manage their time and their schedule such that they can plan for the next projects after a specific project is finished. So it works two ways for both the client and the freelancer. And another good thing for the freelancer is that, you know, when you don't like your client, at least if it's project based, once it's finished, we say it's kalas ma'al salama. It means it's ended and goodbye. I don't want to work with you anymore. So that is the other good thing about project-based flexibility. It's flexibility for both the client and the freelancer. Okay, so now let's look at freelance heavy industries and their tools. On the left, you will see an industry or sector, and then typical freelance roles and the common tools that are being used. And I'd like to add, what are the common breaches or risks that have happened on these common tools that you normally use? Okay, let's skip the industry and sector. We have discussed that. Your typical freelancer roles in each of this sector can vary depending on your role here. So, on the chat, if you don't mind, can you tell me what are your specific freelance roles? Panel strategist, project manager, I think I've seen that. HR consulting, SEO, Darwin marketing. So we have here HR, SEO, funnel strategist, project manager, marketing. So interesting freelance roles, no? So these are the common tools. Again, if we're going back to this slide, we say that there are common tools that most of you are using. Why are these common tools? It's because you establish your own tool. Unlike when you are joining a company, they have their own predefined and approved applications that are within their organization. So, which means, for example, they use MS Project instead of another project management tool. They use, let's say, Bitrix for communication instead of the other communication stuff. Okay. Let's go now to the responses and the survey. When you registered, there were some questions. So we just like to know your experience and what are the tools that you are using. So first of all, thank you. Acknowledge that you participated in this survey. Your answers gave us great insight into how freelancers like you are managing your files and facing cyber risks. So let's have a look. On the question of how do you currently store and manage your client files and working documents, majority responded to, or 74% said they are using cloud storage like Google Drive, Dropbox, etc. 10% said local drive. 3% said they're using Notion, Trello, and 13% says, not really sure. I just go with what they see. So it means those who answered I don't know, we just go with what's easy. It could mean that you are saving your client's files in different utility or different tool. You may have saved your client one's files in Google. The other one client, you save them in Dropbox. The other one, you're using Notion or Trello, or the other ones, you save them on your local drive. Okay, that's what it means. Now, have you experienced or suspected any form of cyber attack, scam, or data loss? Oh, 47% said not yet, thankfully. What's the blue one? Yes, 20% said yes, it affected my work. 13% handled, and 20% they wouldn't know. So, two things. Freelancers are relying on digital tools more than ever. So many of us are vulnerable without even realizing it. That's exactly why this webinar is important. So today we'll look at how to protect your work, your clients, and your freelance business. So for those who said not yet, and thankfully, yes, really thankfully, but you don't know when it will attack. When will you be attacked? It's not a matter of will you be attacked. It's a question of when will you be attacked. Okay? So don't say if I will be attacked. No, when will you be attacked? Okay? So we all have to be vigilant. At the same time, no one can claim that they are secured. Even companies now, cybersecurity to security providers, they cannot guarantee 100% security. Rather than saying, we will secure your environment, they would rather say, and observe this, they would rather say, we'll help you to be resilient. And why is that? Because no one can escape these hackers, these adversaries, you know. If there's a will, there's a way. So why it matters to cybersecurity freelancers? Business impact. Let's take a moment to really reflect on why it matters to you. You might ask yourself, I'm just one person. How much risk could I possibly pose? Or maybe, isn't the cybersecurity my client's responsibility? But here's the truth. When a client hires you, they're entrusting you with their crown jewels. And you know what the crown jewel is? Can anyone put on the chat if you know what a crown jewel is? See, files, yes. It's files, their business, yes. Their data, yeah. The data are now the new oil. Okay. Without oil, how can a country operate? Yeah. Every country exports oil, or some countries manufacture oil or produce oil. Now, everyone produce data, and every data are connected one way or another, either to you, to your company, or to your country. So you can ask yourself, would I hand over my house keys to someone who doesn't lock their own door? Yeah, how's that? I'll entrust my house to you, but in fact, you're not locking your own home, or you're not securing your own home. Am I confident that if someone hacked my device today, my client's data would still be there? This is a very important question for you. So the business impact is that poor cybersecurity and sometimes poor cybersecurity habits, they damage the client trust. And very important for you is your reputation. Sometimes the damage is permanent. When we say permanent, you know, every organization now who depend on a certain pool of freelancers, they can ask one another. Let's say I hired Zara before, but she was not careful. I lost my data. I got compromised. I got ransomware. Don't hire her ever. So it's not only that client, that particular client, but it's a pool of interconnected companies who know each other and know who they depend on, which is the freelancers. So client vulnerabilities, many clients unknowingly expose themselves by giving freelancers system access. Here is where you as a freelancer can add value. Again, many clients unknowingly expose themselves by giving freelancers system access. So if you're not secure, they're not secured. Freelancers have been called to be called the soft underbelly of cyber risk. So you're integrated into their workflows, sometimes deeper than their own stuff. That comes with a responsibility. So the real world consequences here is that we are not just taking theory. There have been real breaches, malware via shared links, access tokens linked through unsecured tools, credentials exposed through reused passwords. So let's shift the mindset. You're not just a freelancer. You're a trusted partner. You're a gatekeeper. You're a digital gatekeeper, and you're someone who can bring awareness to your clients who are not implementing their own cybersecurity hygiene. So you can turn cybersecurity from a risk to a competitive edge. Now that we know, let's explore what freelancers are up against too. Let's go on the threat landscape. So common cybersecurity threats facing the clients. Let's talk about client business types, the top cyber threats, and the freelancer roles. So many of you work with small businesses that don't have a cybersecurity team. Am I right? So their protection, it might just be antivirus and crossed fingers. Okay, some of you work with startups where things move faster and security comes often later, even though they handle sensitive customer data. Look at many startup companies who are selling their AI product. If you're going to wear like an auditor hat and look at on cybersecurity hat and look at how they are implementing the cybersecurity hygiene, most of the time you will not see it from there, because what is important for them is that they have developed an AI and they will just want it to be rolled out. Some of you might be working with larger corporations where even one wrong move, like mismanaging a shared folder, let's say, could trigger a compliance issue. Large corporations are very high on compliance, either government compliance or their industry required compliance. The top cyber threats here are phishing attacks. So it's social engineering. I'm sure you all know about this. They trick someone into clicking a bad link or entering login into a fake page. Later, I will show something. Ransomware, it's where hackers lock a company's files and demand payment to unlock them. Insider threats, on the other hand, this can come from disgruntled employees or even freelancers with leftover access. Yeah. Okay, so freelancers are often not part of an internal security team, but you still handle access, you handle data, and you handle client trust. So I hope at this point already you are seeing your role. You're not just a freelancer who do marketing, who do HR consulting or SEO or project manager or funneling strategist. You are a freelancer who are entrusted by your client, you are their partner, and you are offering value-added service by being secured, by keeping them secured and being secured yourself. Okay, so I hope this, from the past few slides, we're already framing the thought of who you really are as a freelancer. Yep. Now, let's go one level deeper. Not all clients face the same cyber risk. It really depends on what industry they are in. As a freelancer, you might think, well, I manage their social media or update their website. But depending on your sector, we talked about industry earlier, right? Depending on the sector, your work might be connected to sensitive system files or data that are protected by law. So what are these? E-commerce. The risks here are payment card data theft, customer information breaches, website compromise, and regulatory compliance, the PCI DSS, payment card industry security. This compliance isn't optional for them. And if you're touching the site, you are in the loop. The other one, HR consulting, okay, finance. Think about clients who run fintech startups or manage transactions. They're worried about identity theft, fraudulent transactions, regulatory compliance as well, and account takeover attacks. So if you help manage their platforms, their ads or CRM, you may be closer to the risk than you think. If your client is on healthcare, this is one huge. If you have clients in wellness, in clinics, telehealth, or even fitness tech, you could be touching the HIPAA or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This is HIPAA protected data. This talks about the person, their health profile, their diseases, okay, very, very confidential. So there's a lot at stake. And global businesses, if your clients operate across borders, even like Google Drive, sharing can violate GDPR or privacy laws. Okay, they also face risks from geopolitical tension, which means it's more increased targeting. Okay, can you just drop me a note on the chat, please, if you are handling local, regional, or global client? Local, Darwin. Okay, local. Who else? Only in UAE. Okay. Still local. No one's crossing the border still? Now that you know what I'm talking about here, as we wait for the others put their clientele on the chat, what we're emphasizing here is the more diverse your clients are, the more that you need to be particular about the risks that your data and your client could be facing. It can cost them, okay, US, Sarah, that's congratulations, that's a big one. Pay attention to the compliance, the regulations that they should follow or they should comply with in the US. So, Australia as well. So what I mean is this: if you are based, for example, in the Philippines or in the UAE, if your clients are in the US or in Australia, their data protection regulation is according to their country, not your country as a freelancer. So be careful of how you handle their information, how you handle their files. Most especially, ask yourself if ever you will cause them any harm, if you will be the cause, of course, and we will avoid this. If you will be the cause, what is at stake for them? UAE, we have a lot of data localization requirements here. Yeah, the sovereignty. In no one in Europe. In Europe, there's the GDPR. So if you handle any clients in Europe, be careful about the GDPR. It might not be you, but it could be you causing them for this very stiff penalty, stiff fines. Okay. Oh, no, thank you. Is that the data? Yes, the data sovereignty. Yeah. So the data sovereignty means here in the UAE, there's a data localization, which means government data of the citizens should not be saved outside the UAE. This goes to say that, let's say, in the Philippines, we have what we call Meralco, or the power provider, the light, the electricity provider, which means if I am a Meralco client, my data should not be saved by Meralco outside the country. Or any Meralco client's data should not go out of the Philippines. It should be saved within the Philippines only. Okay, so that's what it means. Lapses by freelancers. What about these common oversights we might be making as freelancers? Real world oversights that you often undertake, whether you know it or knowingly or unknowingly. No, you don't consider, or you don't may not be bothering to understand the risks. Many freelancers don't realize what's at stake. What we have just mentioned here, do you know where the files of your clients are saved? Do you know what are the regulations that they need to abide with, that they need to comply with? So there are risks if these are compromised. So you don't realize what's at stake. So understand the risk. It's not just about protecting your laptop. It's about protecting access to client tools, your customer data, even the payment system. If you don't understand what could go wrong, you won't take action until it does, okay? Implement security. Most of freelancers, here's is where you often get stuck. We know we should use strong passwords or two-factor authentication at the least, but maybe we don't. Or we just use the same password across projects or share files over insecure links. These are small habits that can lead to very big problems. Regular monitoring. Once you set things up, don't forget about them. That plugin, for example, that you installed, it might need some update. That shared link, it might still be public. So when you share something, don't use the share to whoever has the link. Make sure that you share it with a specific email address for that particular person only to access it. Because if you share a link that says, and you assign anyone who has the link, then anyone who gets that link gets access to that file as well. Okay? I hope that is clear. And client communication. This one surprises people, but not speaking up is risk. If you notice your client system are exposed, or if they send you credentials in plain text, let's say, I'll send you a WhatsApp, here's the password. Okay, I'll send you the password in WhatsApp. It is complicated. It is 8-digit, but it has an asterisk, it has ampersand, it has number sign. It's difficult. But you sent it as plain text on WhatsApp or in SMS or email. So that's a risk as well. You're sending a password, but you're sending it in plain text. So, again, I'd like to get you involved in the discussion. Which of these 4 areas do you feel you could improve on most? Or I will not ask you to comment because it also means you're exposing your own weakness. Okay, so this reflection helps you see that improving security doesn't mean overhauling everything. Sometimes it's about one smart change at a time. Can you just say yes if you think any of this oversight is something that hits you? I'll be happy to see someone saying no. Okay, reusing passwords and across client tools. Let's talk about really common and really risky habit. Reusing passwords across clients and tools. Client 1, you're using the password 123. Client 2, also 123. Client 3, also 123. Now, before anyone gets defensive, no shame here. We've all done it. When you're juggling 5 or 10 different platforms, it's tempting to reuse a strong password for everything just to keep your sanity. But here's the catch. If one of those platforms gets breached, whether it's a CRM or email or scheduling tool, all the accounts using the same password become exposed. Think of it like having one key that opens your house, your car, your office, or your storage unit. If someone copies that one key, you've lost everything. So why does this affect most? Who does this affect most? Let's see. Maybe virtual assistants, maybe marketers, maybe real estate freelancers, anyone who logs into multiple client platforms daily. So the oversight is that one reused password gets leaked in a breach, and suddenly a hacker logs in to all your accounts, and the result is appointment gets missed, client calendars go haywire, the client starts questioning your reliability, and worst of all, they lose your trust. And trust is hard to get back. Okay? Use of SSO, passkey, and password. Yes, Angelo, that is another good practice that you can make use of, but the password manager. Okay, if you are in your laptop or you have access to, let's say, Google Chrome, if you can type have I been pwned.com, this one, have I been pwned.com. This is the screen that you will see. Enter your email address, okay? And once you enter your email address and click on check, it will tell you how many hacks have happened wherein your password is included or your email address is included. Can anyone try that now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Brian, it tells you for which particular breach your account has been compromised, included in the compromise, yeah? Okay, so for those who haven't tried it, just have a look at it and see how how many times you have been pwned. They said the PWNED was mistyped. It used to be owned, OWNED. Oh, Suzanne, 9 times. Okay. So if you see it 9 times and it says that email address, make sure that your password has been changed. Okay. Mary G. Hi, Mary. Hello. It's been 7. Okay, so there have been 7 breaches wherein your account, your email account, your name, your password has been included. So make sure that you have changed your password regularly. Okay? Suzanne 9 times. Okay. Anyone higher than Suzanne? Okay, so create a strong password, and as what Angela also mentioned, you may try to use a password manager. Okay, working without a VPN on a public Wi-Fi. Can you just say yes if you access free Wi-Fi in a cafeteria, in a mall, in airport, etc. I know you're very hesitant. You know the thing here. I know you're hesitant to Darwin. Thank you. Yes. We are hesitant to answer because we're guilty. And we do not want to compromise ourselves by answering these questions, right? So just think of everyone, each one of you here are hacker. And let's just say Darwin said, yes, I access what free Wi-Fi or public Wi-Fi. And Mary is a hacker. And Mary now knows where to hack Darwin. Sort of a social engineering, no? Okay. Darwin, you're not alone. Yes, if you want to beat the hacker, think like a hacker. This is how we always say in cybersecurity. How do we, say, try to evade those compromise? It's thinking like the hacker. Okay. Who this affects? And freelancers on the go, marketers, VAs, real estate professionals, really anyone with a laptop and a latte or macchiato. Okay. And the oversight, when you connect to public Wi-Fi without the VPN, your internet traffic can be intercepted. But with VPN, it also, by the way, just to clarify here. Okay, your VPN cannot protect you from phishing. Why? Because those phishing attacks goes usually from through an email. So when you click that, it just goes like a usual accessing the any website. No, this is called a man in the middle attack, and it's easier to pull off than most people think. So the result here, the hacker is snooping on the network, could gain access to your client's ad manager, keyboard logger, okay, reroute traffic, delete campaigns, or even change billing details. Or worse, get their email and start phishing their customers. Once you connect to the free or public Wi-Fi, the hackers or the adversaries can actually install remote access tools or RATs. We call it RATs. These hackers often bundle keyloggers, screen capture, and other features inside. The attacker can get a full control of your machine, your files, your webcam, your microphone, your keystrokes, your screens, etc. This is a form of a remote access exploitation. So reality check, VPN secure your tunnel for your data, even on open Wi-Fi, but it won't secure you when you click that malicious link on a phishing email. Okay? Evil twin, yeah. Okay. Another question. I really would like to engage you. Okay. Anyone use a VPN? Can you tell me? Can you comment VPN if your VPN can also bypass the firewall, sending virus? Can VPN also bypass the firewall also? The VPN usually acts as letting your communication pass through a secured line. Can it bypass the firewall? Not necessarily, but sending virus to all network. Once you are seen by the hacker, they don't need your VPN. Once the VPN, Zara is using VPN, okay. Of course, it has a cost, but again, if the amount of the VPN subscription will cost, if you are avoiding the cost of VPN subscription, think about what would be the cost if you will lose your client. So again, it's not about only your security, it's about your client's security. So the hidden risk of registering on the free Wi-Fi, when you connect to the public Wi-Fi, screen pop up asking you to enter your email address, even your phone numbers, or sign in with Google or Facebook. That could be what do you call this? Captive portal. And while it looks harmless, it becomes with hidden risks. Okay. So what attackers can do, they can harvest your email and link it to your browsing activity. They will sell or leak your login. If you reuse that email and password combo elsewhere, or worse, if you click sign in with Google, they could be spoofing the login page to steal your credentials. Sharing files or spreadsheets via public links. Let's talk about a mistake that happens all the time, especially among digital freelancers. Sharing Google Drive links, spreadsheets, or reports via public links. Again, better share it not using to anyone, share with anyone who has the link. Better make sure that when you share it, you specify the email address with for email address of that particular person who needs to access it. Those links are public. Anyone who stumbles on that URL can open the file. And Google Drive links are sometimes shockingly guessable with the right tools. These IDs, while they are large, they are sometimes exposed or brute forced with special tools or scripts if file sharing is set to anyone with link. So what's the risk? You send your beautifully crafted client campaign results or lead database to one person, and 1 month later, their competitor could access it because the link was still active. Yeah? So let's go virtual. I will do my best, and I wanted to tell you that in our language, in Tagalog, walang hayop na nasaktan sa pelikulang ito. In short, in English, this was done in a contained environment, in a virtual environment. This is not live. And it's only between two computers just to simulate what the attackers are seeing when you connect to a public network. Okay, let me just set this up, please. So as you can see here, I have two machines. I want to show you that this is a virtual environment, okay? Just to tell you that this is a safe environment. We have what we call ethical hacking, and in ethical hacking, what you do it in a contained environment. You don't do it in live, because when you do it in live, you can harm other people. And ethical hacking means when you do it with another company as a pen tester, you do it with permission. You only do testing on whatever you are called to do or asked to do. So I have here a virtual box. So this is a virtual environment. I have an Ubuntu, which is the victim. His name is Victon. Okay, and he has a very difficult password. And here, switch user. Okay. Okay. So here on the left, you are the victim. This is an assumption that you have already connected to the free Wi-Fi. Your prompt is C Ubuntu at victim. Okay. And on the other side, let's wait until it logs in. I'm sure Brian would know what I'm typing here. I'm just trying to get the IP address of both, and I'm just trying to ping each other. Okay. So it means here that the victim is seeing the attacker, and the attacker is actually seeing the victim. Okay. So I am the attacker. Okay, you have connected to a fake Wi-Fi that I created, and I can ping. Okay. So here I pinged the victim successfully. And then also on the victim, in the attacker side, I already created a list of passwords. This is something that perhaps I can buy on the dark web, you know, those password compromises, email and password compromises. So I'll add them in my huge list of passwords. And so I created a file. It's mini.txt, and in that file, again, in real life, the hackers would have a huge amount of passwords. They can do a brute force attack using trial and error. So these are the examples of passwords that I created. And coming from there as well, I can, or an attacker can actually do a Hydra attack, which means I ran this password list to that particular IP of the victim who has connected to my fake Wi-Fi. I'll use the passwords, the list of huge volume of passwords that I have, and it matched one of my passwords with the password of the victim. In this case, the password is 123. Very difficult. Okay? And then I can do a secure shell on the victim, you enjoying your latte. You don't know that you connected to my fake Wi-Fi. You don't know that I have seen you. I have seen my password using a possible brute force. And now I am securing your PC. It asks me, what is your password? Okay. And it's because I have started searching or using this list of passwords. I will try the password, which is 123, and voila, look at this now. This victim prompt is your prompt. Okay, so this is how it is. That is just the start of it. And once an attacker has already gained access to your PC, then I can drop something, which is the RAT, okay, remote access Trojan, and which means I can also do remote access means I have access to basically everything. Your whatever you type, it's a keylogger. If you have a Zoom, I can intercept your camera. I can again, the keylogger, everything you type will be seen to me as plain text. So if you enter something to me as a key, as a credit card, what does a credit card indicator mean? It's 16-digit number. And then it is followed by double digit slash double digit, which is the month, year expiry. And then followed by a 3-digit number, which is the code, no? So that to me is already a credit card number. Yeah. And I can see them plain text because I have already installed a remote access. Okay, so I also created something. Just again, this is just for a test, okay? When you connect to a free Wi-Fi, you may not notice because what you type is the domain name. let's say Facebook.com or Google.com. But behind that, there's what we call the DNS server that actually translates it to an IP address. You may not notice, but if you see that you don't type the HTTP anymore, for sure. If it is HTTP, it means you're not connected to a secure Wi-Fi. Here you're saying it says not secured, but it's because it's a simulation. It's a lab. But the hackers, they would know how to hide this. Now, if there is a login page here, and you enter your credentials, the same thing. If a rat has been installed, then they will just see it. Yeah. Again, there's an error response here because it's a fake Wi-Fi. Okay, so let me see the chats first. What if we do have antivirus installed on our laptop or phones? We connect to free Wi-Fi without the chances of hacker gaining access. No, the antivirus only protects you from virus. They can still gain access to your device, even if you have an antivirus. If I plant a virus, then that's the time that your antivirus will react, saying that there is a malicious file that's being installed on that you click. For example, you click on a link and it downloads something, then you will if you have an active antivirus or anti-malware, it will mention or it will tell you that something is being installed. So no multi-factor authentication on business email or platform. This is one might sting a little because it's one of the most common oversights I see among freelancers. No enabling of multi-factor authentication, especially on your devices. 2FA, the two-factor authentication, or MFA, multi-factor authentication, on business emails are very important. Let's look at this. You log into your Gmail or your MailChimp or Stripe or ClickFunnels. You've got the right password. You're in. But so does the hacker, because they phished you or got your password from a leak, or because there's no second layer protection. Just like that. Freelancers managing multiple clients, accounts, like marketers, again, admins, VAs, email managers, anyone touching client-facing systems, this can cause you a compromise. So no MFA, one phishing email, and now someone's inside your inbox or your Stripe dashboard or CRM. Ooh, downloading free or pirated marketing or design tools. So who this affects? Freelancers using cracked version of software like Photoshop or Canva Pro templates, After Effects, or design plugins. Many pirated tools come bundled with spywares or login or keyloggers or backdoors. So be very, very careful about this, please. If you're using it for yourself, up to you to get compromised. But if you are using it for your clients, please be very, very careful. If you're getting paid anyway, why not spend a little cost here and there for those subscription? So the results, client folders or project files get infected because of those tools. Login credentials can be harvested. Keyloggers, they capture again your emails, your password while you work. So exposing both your freelancer, you as a freelancer, and your clients. Other things you might want to look at this: misconfigured access to shared calendars or CRMs. Who this affects? Appointment setters, the virtual assistants. So misconfigured access. Who this affects? The appointment setters, the VAs, no? The real estate support roles, for example, because the real estate, they are the ones who are booking appointments for their clients who would like to, let's say, do a viewing of the properties. The oversight here, default by permission in tools like Calendly or Outlook are often allow everyone with link to view or even edit the calendar. Again, your role as a freelancer, if you are using this tool, look at the permission. Change the default. Again, the default is anyone with the link. So you wouldn't want this appointment to be compromised or somebody else change it. Okay? Small things, but matter a lot. if this, you are a VA for a property agent, and this schedule was compromised, just imagine if this is $1 million property and the client is a real buyer, just see how much it will cost if you miss that client just because somebody else changed the schedule or appointment of the visit. Secured freelance is sustainable freelance. Why? What do we mean by sustainable freelance? Sustainable freelance means your gig as a freelance is continuous. So once you secure your freelance hustle, then your freelance is continuous. Use MFA, share files securely, vet subcontractors, keep devices updated, and use a VPN on public networks. So here I have already mentioned some of those situations earlier, the threat landscape, how it can possibly be compromised, what are the not so good cyber hygiene that you are overlooking, and now we are moving to how to sustain your freelance hustle. Okay, practical implementation. You recognize your cybersecurity gaps. Along the way, I'm asking you, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you not doing this? Or are you not doing that? This is already recognizing your gaps. So the signs of weakness that you have, weak password, multi-factor authentication, lack of MFA on critical systems, outdated software, missing patches, minimal security training on your client, no incident response plan. These are signs of weak security. So effective security assessment, you ask these questions. How do you currently manage access to sensitive systems? Now, let me tell you, if you are not hearing this from your client, you might as well offer it these questions. Okay, in a way, you are adding value to your clients, and they will say, "Oh, my VA is security concerned. Oh, my VA knows how to keep us secured. Oh, my VA knows what we do now." So this is an added value, right? But if your client asks you this, at least you know what to answer, and they will feel secure, they will feel protected. Okay? So how do you ask your client, how do you currently manage your system? What's your process for backing up critical data? How do employees share sensitive information, etc.? Now, I hope you are already embedding something on systems or things that you're not applying. So other things, you need to communicate cybersecurity risk to client that is understandable to their language. We always say that when we talk to the board, we don't talk in a language of hackers. We don't say that you have a highly compromised system that are critical, etc., etc. You don't talk to them in that language. You use simple language, avoid security jargon, and don't pretend to be someone who you are not. Very important. Just talk to them in plain language. If they hired you as pen tester, then go. But if they hired you as a virtual assistant, just communicate to them in a common jargon or acronym. Translate risks into plain English for your client to understand. Okay. Provide relatable examples. Compare, use metaphors and analogies to explain abstract risks. Like it's like leaving your front door open while you're on vacation. So sharing a public Google Drive link is like taping a folder to a park bench. Something like that. So focus on business impact. Explain or tie the risk to downtime, customer trust, or financial loss. Help them understand why it matters to the business, not just to the tech. Yeah, you can tell them if we don't comply to this and we have a data breach, it can cost you this percentage because you could be in violation of the GDPR or of the HIPAA in the case of USA. Okay, also offer practical solution. Don't just point out the problem. Suggest action they can take. They can take it perhaps with you. Isn't that good? That is an additional gig for you as a freelancer. Simple advices from you, you can add that as additional value-added services. Clients are most likely to listen when you don't sound like you're lecturing. So be calm, clear, and solution focused. Securing payment gateways and transactions. Normally, these are the responsibility of the payment gateway providers. But we can also say that they are not secured from breaches. When they had their breaches, they also learned their lesson. And when they learned their lesson, the more that they are putting layers of security into their system. So common payment threats are credit card fraud and data breaches, man in the middle, phishing, targeting payment credentials, etc. And the best practices here is to use PCI DSS compliant payment providers. So, what are those PCI DSS? Stripe or PayPal. These are compliant payment providers. So, fraud prevention is you enable 3D secure authentication or CAPTCHA. Okay, so once you do processing of payment, just have a check if these are being implemented on the payment gate. Security, convenience spectrum, maximum security, balance approach, but maximum convenience. Because maximum security, sometimes they see it as a burden. That's why most of the time it becomes convenience over security. As IT, let's say for IT security, they could implement the policy of changing the password every 60 days. And added to that policy is it should be complex. Minimum is 8. There should be a capital and a small, a number, and a special character. And you cannot use the previous or past 6 passwords, which means if you use a password this year, the next time or next chance that you will use that password will be next year. Okay? Multiple authentication factors. To some, they are using Authenticate, an application that asks you to enter the key on the device before you're able to access it. Balance approach, there would be password managers and risk-based authentication or usable security tools. These ones, you can ask your clients if they are implementing such, especially if they are giving you access to their systems. Simple, maximum convenience, sometimes you reuse passwords. What do others do? I hope you're not doing this. If I'm telling you this, I hope don't follow. Okay. For those who are very convenient using same and the same password, you have the policy, do not reuse the past 6 passwords. What will they do? My password is 123. Change the password now. I'll make it 456. After an hour, I'll change the password 789. After an hour, 10, 11, 12. Next, etc. Now I change my password 6 times, and then I'll go back to 123. That's what is convenience. Simple reuse password and no additional verification and unlimited access. Sometimes you are given an admin access just so that they will not have any headache of you telling them, I don't have access to this. Can you give me an access? And then by default, they give you an admin access. So if you are given that privilege, tell them this is not security. So please give me only the needed access. And finally, let's tie it all together with toolkits, compliance, and next steps with real application. Case study, CRM security vulnerability. A scenario here is a freelance sets up a CRM, let's say a HubSpot, a Soho, or Salesforce for a consulting firm, but a data breach exposes confidential client information. So the security audit steps is perform a comprehensive review of CRM security settings, identify misconfiguration in the user permission. Just as I mentioned, perhaps they gave everyone admin access. And then check for excessive data sharing settings. So those data sharing settings mean anyone who has this data, full access. Not if you can customize the access on the needed role-based are back, as we said, role-based access control. It means if you only need to have a read access to this, then your access should only be as read. If you are authorized to edit, then you have an editor access, okay? Critical fixes, you implement privilege principles for all users, enable MFA, and set up logging to detect suspicious login attempts. These are also something on the client side, especially on their systems. Okay, very important. This is a big system, a CRM. Once compromised, it could cause a huge impact on the client, on the customer. Okay. So incident response, when things go wrong, don't panic. Don't call your hacker friend or your pen tester friend because they are not there to clean up the mess. Very important is the detection. You identify the potential security incidents through monitoring or reports. You document your initial observation and preserve the evidence. When we say preserve the evidence, in real crime, you see that yellow line, your yellow ribbon. You do the same. You preserve what you believe is seen in your laptop, what happened. If you can document them and report. Don't hide it to yourself. The very, very important thing when you see something goes wrong is to inform so that the next steps are to be taken by the IT security or the IT team of your client. Containment, they will take immediate action. They eradicate, they will remove the malware or any unauthorized access. They will recover. This is the resiliency part of it. How soon can they recover and restore from clean backup? And post-incident, you document what's lessons learned. And what is the most lesson that is learned? Your cyber hygiene. If those cybersecurity tools and good practices are not implemented, then that is the best lessons learned. Communicate transparently with the clients. Don't be afraid. Okay? Because it's not always that you are the one at fault. Usually, you will find out what is the reason or how it happened, not who is the reason. Okay? The data security lifecycle, this is for you, for every client. Okay? For every client, have a look at this. You create the data, you store it, you use it, you share, you archive, and you destruct. Depending on your contract, there's an NDA or non-disclosure agreement. You're not supposed to disclose that for a specific period of time. Some contracts have a specific duration because they know that the life cycle of their data is only valid for 2 years. But example of longer term information are an individual's birthday, it's permanent. An individual's nationality, it could be long term, but it could change, right? If you acquire different nationality. Your health information, these are very important. So if you are in the process of handling client information, make sure that you handle them with care from creation to destruction. And by the way, some clients would like you to confirm that you have already destroyed any information that you're holding. Okay, secure remote access collaboration, use VPN, use secure file sharing. We have already discussed most of that. Video conferencing, use password protected meetings. With waiting rooms, we disabled the waiting room because we have a registration. This is not an open, what you call this? Open webinar. When we say open webinar, it's like we opened it to LinkedIn and anyone can access. Okay, there was a registration. Remote desktop, secure remote desktop connection with strong authentication. Okay. Client security onboarding framework may be something that you'd like to implement for yourself as a freelancer. Initial security discussion, you establish security expectation and requirements during project scoping. Why it matters, you align on the security requirement at the start of the project. It will build trust and avoid miscommunication. Access management planning. So why does this matter? You document the access It minimizes the risk of unauthorized use and allows clear timelines and revocation. So it means your access is from month 1 to month 5 because this is our project duration. Secure communication setup. It matters because encrypted communication reduces the chances of interception. I'm saying this right now, encrypted communication reduces the chance of interception. Again, having someone here, which is Angelo, he's in IT, that quantum is already around, yeah? So it can break the encryption already. But don't bother about that. Let's talk at this time. What is being implemented in your client environment? Documentation and training. Why this matters? Training client teams ensures the security measures you build don't break down after the project delivery. So it's always good that while you are working with them, you keep on reiterating why security is important. Is it that good for us as cybersecurity people who will say that, oh, the freelancers are helping us? And offboarding protocol. Once we wrap up, let's make sure my credentials are revoked and any temporary accounts are removed. It's like coming from you, please remove my access, our project is finished. Key takeaway and action plan. Recognize your role in security. For client education, you create basic security checklists. You recommend, something is covering my screen. You can recommend password manager, promote encrypted communication, and use secure messaging tool. And for further learning, security best practice certifications for you, if you'd like to acquire those certifications, the basic courses like CompTIA Security, that will be very helpful. It's also very important for you to know the regulations within that particular country wherein you are operating or your client is operating, like the GDPR, the HIPAA, okay? And legal and compliance considerations. This is again where we mention about those governmental and regional regulation. GDPR applies to anyone processing EU citizen data. CCPA, I think this is for Zara, and HIPAA as well. And the industry-specific regulation like the PCI DSS and the SOC. So, yes, are you ready to take your freelance gig to the next level? I think I am done from here. And yeah, I'm open for questions now. I will stop my sharing.